Navigating change is never an easy process. Many clubs have been around for decades and are steeped in tradition. We've always done it this way as a popular outcry, but there are many times when the inevitable can no longer be avoided and we must adapt. It may be because of the world around us, internal club politics, national organizational requirements, evolving member needs, or just that need to breathe new life into your club. No matter the cause, if done with careful planning and plentiful communication, change can be a wonderful process that leaves our club stronger than ever before. There are many models for change out there, but today we will look at the model of personal change. This four-step process begins with perhaps the hardest step of all, making the decision to change. Once your club is committed to making that change, we move into our second phase, the ending. In this step, the old ways come to pass, essentially uprooting what we have known for many years. Our transition time, also known as the middle zone, can be one of both uncertainty and excitement. However, as the fog begins to clear, we are left with a new beginning where we can truly begin to enjoy the fruits of our hard work. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. This quote from Socrates illustrates exactly why many clubs make the decision to change. Clubs can spend too many years and too much money on trying to make an old program, event, or even policy work. It can be an exhausting fight to uphold the old way of doing things. It also typically leads nowhere. However, when we start to accept that things are going to change, we put new goals in front of our leaders, volunteers, and members. We hopefully become united by this common mission and focus all of our energy on ensuring the success of our new initiative. Of course, we must acknowledge that making the decision to change isn't easy. As I said earlier, it is often the hardest step in the entire process. Here are 7 questions from HR management firm Insperity that your club can consider as you work through this difficult time. Why are we scared of the change? Here, we need to look at what is holding us back and our potential stumbling blocks. Do we have an inspirational way of sharing what the future looks like? Can we get our members excited about the change? Are you ready to talk about why change is important? This is going to be essential to member buy-in. Have you thought about what's in it for them? Explain to members how this will benefit them and the communities that you serve. Do you know how to make the change? You will need to have a realistic plan in place that encompasses everything. Policies, working with national, internal communications, budgeting, volunteer support, and external marketing are just a few things you might consider. Are you ready to provide support? Do you have the manpower and budgetary resources available to be successful? And finally, do your leaders know how to manage the change? Any change will likely fail without this critical component. So your club has made the decision to change. So what comes next? Naturally, you start to initiate the change. It is during this phase that you need to make sure that you have your plan in place. You might not necessarily execute all phases here, but you need to know what to expect. You should also be communicating what is happening to your members as it happens. They don't need to know every minute detail. Instead, keep your communications concise and transparent as you report on the major points and landmarks of your project. This is going to be especially important with your longtime members as they often feel ownership over the programs and events that have been around for years. We've all been there. However, by acknowledging what we may be giving up and celebrating what was, we demonstrate that their support was and still is important to us. How can we do that? Thank them. A personal letter from your club president can be a great personal touch. If it's been an especially important program or event to your club, you can also include a photo in your next newsletter or on social media to thank your supporters. Throwback Thursdays and Flashback Fridays are popular for a reason. People love nostalgia. Alright, now that we're changing, we're starting to actually go through the transition. This can be a time of confusion and self-examination for your club. It can be hard to lose the familiar. As we deal with our interrupted routines, we will need to find ways to adapt and figure out what skills are missing in order for us to be successful. We are essentially recreating a vision for the policy, program, or event that is undergoing the process of change. Let's look at a very simple example. Your club may find that your weekly meeting just isn't attracting members the way that it used to, so you decide to move to meeting every other week to see if your attendance approves. What does your club need to do to make sure that your members are aware of this new schedule, and what club processes might need to change as a result? For instance, as you alter your schedule, you might also realize that your content and format need some changes. This is part of developing those new skills. Another thing to keep in mind during this middle zone phase is that results may not be, and usually aren't, immediate. You need to give yourself time to succeed. Looking back at our meeting example, you might not see notable attendance changes in your first month, but don't give up yet. Give your members some time to understand and adapt to your new meeting schedule. Finally, we've reached our last phase, the new beginning. This step sets in after the cloud of confusion has really started to clear. At this point, we have established our new routines. These routines are slowly building the new foundation on which our program or event is built, hopefully resulting in a new wave of optimism and support. Of course, this is a simplistic view of a difficult process. It's okay to be a little idealistic when you're planning out your change. It just needs to have a basis in reality. As we start to wrap up, let's look at a few tips for your club to be successful when managing change. Number 1, inform everyone. Make sure everyone in the organization is told about the vision and the changes taking place. 2, be decisive. Make decisions to move forward and don't get muddled down. 3, get everyone involved in making decisions. This includes all your members, not just your board and committee chairs. 4, be patient. This one can be really hard, but it's likely the most critical when it comes to membership harmony. And finally, educate people about change. Show them the change model and what is to be expected. This concludes today's training on navigating change. Sertoma wants to help your club be successful. That is why we offer so many other trainings and resources in our member center at members.sertoma.org. You can also join the conversation at the link on your screen to get helpful hints from staff and other members in Sertoma's Member Corner on Facebook.